So let's talk about Jane Austen. I'm currently in England walking between Alton and Chawton, which is the home of the Jane Austen house, Jane Austen's last residence, which is now a museum, essentially. So why would a gem cutter, researcher, scholar be deep diving into Jane Austen? What does Jane Austen have to do with gems and minerals? This is an interesting question. So to answer that, let's talk about John Mawe. So John Mawe is my favorite old school gem dealer, gem cutter from London. His period of time was like the 1780s to the 1820s. John Mawe is about 11 years older than Jane Austen, and he is an extremely fascinating character in the story of British gem cutting. So I'm deep diving into John Mawe, and I'm trying to find more about his period of time when I stumble into Pride and Prejudice. So in Pride and Prejudice, the main character at one point in the story goes up to Derbyshire, which is where John Mawe's from. And she's in a little tourist village called Matlock Bath. And she goes, surely I can go into Matlock Bath and get a piece of the local spar without running into Mr. Darcy. This is right before she visits Mr. Darcy's house for the first time. And at that period of time when Pride and Prejudice was written, there's only one mineral shop in Matlock Bath, and that's the shop of John Mawe. And so when she's talking about the local spar, she's talking about Blue John. So Blue John is a kind of fluorite or fluorspar, and at that time they just called it spar, purple spar. So inadvertently, Pride and Prejudice has a direct reference and connection to John Mawe's shop in Matlock Bath, which got me thinking about Jane Austen because tons and tons and tons of scholarship has been done about her, and her period of time is exactly the same period of time as John Mawe. And in fact, the landed gentry class that she describes in all of her books is the exact class of people that would have been John Mawe's customer base. Now, John Mawe's merchant class. He's from Derbyshire, lives in London with his wife Sarah. They have a shop on the Strand, a high-end shop. And he had these sort of museum gallery shops in some different villages like Matlock Bath. And his customer was the gentleman lapidary, the sort of gentry class who would have had a manor house with a parlor table to put their gentleman's lapidary hand crank bench on. So as I dive into the world of Jane Austen, I'm also diving into the world of John Mawe to understand the social classes of his time and the customer base that he would have been targeted with his minerals and shells and books, and the people that he was trying to get interested in generally for mineralogy and gem collecting and stuff like that. So today we're going to delve into the world of Jane Austen and inadvertently delve into the world of John Mawe. So let's go see this house. So this is the Jane Austen house. This is Jane Austen's last residence. Every single book that she wrote was either written or worked on and revised here. So this is somewhat of an important location for the history of English novels as well as the history of Jane Austen. Jane Austen lived in this house from 1809 to 1817, and it has been renovated back to its original look with wallpaper that recreates the actual wallpaper that was here during Austen's residency, as well as period-appropriate furniture. Amazingly enough, Jane's writing desk that she wrote her novels on still survives, and they have it in its original location in the house. The house is an incredible museum that contains artifacts from the Austen family as well as historic objects that give us a sense of what it would have looked like back then. For me, the highlight was the 3 pieces of jewelry that they had on display. 2 topaz cross necklaces that belonged to Jane and her sister Cassandra. Cassandra's necklace is comprised of oval-shaped brown topaz cut in a mixed cut design, which would have been a very modern cut for the time. Jane's necklace is slightly different, being comprised of square and baguette-shaped brown topaz with rounded edges on the outer ends of the topaz and an unusual faceting pattern. Also on display was a gold and turquoise ring. This belonged to Jane Austen and was passed down through her family after she died. Amazingly enough, even a few pieces of textiles that were made by Jane and her family survive today and are on display. Just down the way here is Chawton House. This is the manor house of Jane Austen's brother. Chawton House gives us an idea of what the gentry class lifestyle would have looked like, which gives me ideas on how John Mawe's customers would have lived and what they wore. The house was beautiful and had a beautiful library which would have been important to characters in Austen's books, as well as mineralogy-minded customers of John Mawe. There will be a lot more to say on the Georgian world of Jane Austen and John Mawe, so keep an eye out for future videos and articles. Thanks for watching.